we're back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 10, Farewell. I'm so sad, but I'm so
Farewell.
happy because we also have a new Star Trek that just started, so it's not that bad. So they gave us a kick and a kiss today, which was really nice. It was like, get out of here, Picard. Welcome, strange new worlds. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm joined tonight by the wonderful Braxton, and Dr. Patrick Patterson is back for the finale, and we might have some other guests that pop in here and there. Who knows? Starfleet Boy's like 10 forward a little bit. Just people pop in and out. How are you gentlemen doing tonight? Braxton, what's up?
I'm well, thank you. Hey, Starfleet Boy. Hey, Patrick. I'm excited to talk Picard Season 2 finale with you guys tonight.
Me too. How are you doing, Patrick?
Wait a minute, were we supposed to watch Picard?
Oh, jeez.
I already told you. Here, I'll do the recap. It's
Yes.
Armis, comes back. No, I'm not actually going to do the recap because I'm terrible at that. But my Armis theory, I think, is correct. I think that's really what happened. Armis came back. He joined the Federation. He threw up Tasha Yar. She was still the same age. So because of that, they didn't de-age Denise Crosby. They made a Denise Crosby clone 30 years ago, so that
Just
for this very moment, for this very episode, it would all work out.
That's legit. Not gonna lie, when I read your tweet, I was like, that's kind of awesome. I was like, how funny would that have been? We have a couple of folks in the audience. I think we have Just Rosie5. Hello, I saw you on the text track. Text track is grilling. So we might give him a little time to wrap up if he's still grilling. I'm not sure. I didn't check in on. Did you guys watch the grill on text track? Were you all over there? No. He's grilling live and talking about like Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Picard because he's hosting a party tonight where he's going to watch it with his friends. And a few people from YouTube are coming over and stuff like that. So it's happening in Texas, man.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah.
Oh,
It's totally,
wow.
yeah. We also have Joel here. Hey, Joel, nice to see you. Cake is eternal, and cake, it's a piece of cake tonight. That's what Dr. Teresa says about Rios. Piece of cake, piece of cake. I love it. And then Ruben's here, and he says, what up, friends? Have a great time. Robbie, yay. He's here, and he says, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Robbie. We think you're awesome, too.
Hey, Robbie.
And then Ruben also says, Star Trek Picard 10... episode 10 titled Hot Mess. Oh, okay, so now we know what Ruben thought about it. Rude. Get out of here. We also have Ed here. Hi, Ed. Nice to see you. So let's get this show on the road, shall we? Oh wait, I did this wrong. Hold on. I made us disappear. I made my family disappear. All right, here we go. So, Star Trek Picard, Episode 10, Farewell. What'd you all think of... Well, I'll give a quick summary. So, basically, the season concludes with Soong still after Rene Picard because he really wants this future that was kind of like hinted at. Oh, cool, Johnny's here. Hold on a second. Yay! Hey, let me hide these slides so we can say hi to you properly. Johnny!
Hello!
Yay! We can hear you loud and clear. That's cool. This is Johnny's first time on Starfleet Voice, so welcome.
Hey, Johnny.
Hello.
Johnny Tsunami, I love that. We met you in Chicago, and so this is kind of a reunion now. This is like a Mission Chicago reunion. I'm very chuffed about that. Johnny, we're just about to give the episode summary, but before we do you mind telling folks, since it's your first time, like who you are, where they can find you, and what you love about Star Trek, how you got into it?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and pretty much most social media platforms at _Johnny Brown, Johnny without an H. I got into Trek in high school, started kind of at junior high, but got into it in high school, really got into it in college. And
that was like 10 years, like less than 10 years ago, by the way, everybody. Just kidding. Well, maybe it was actually.
I graduated high school in 2015, so there you go. First.
Nice. Look at Patrick's face.
But yeah.
Oh, he's frozen. Are you frozen? No, sorry, go. Okay.
I'm not frozen. I'm mortified.
to meet all you great people at Mission Chicago.
Johnny, what's your favorite track?
I want to say, honestly, off the top of my head, I want to say TNG. In terms of like, I guess you could say old track, but in terms of new track, I would probably have to say Discovery.
Nice, very cool. Well, we're so happy you're here.
This isn't a. I know you're gonna do Strange New Worlds later, but did everyone watch Strange New Worlds?
Yes.
I've only seen half of it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, well, Brax, I need to get on it.
Dude, I was trying to watch Picard this morning. I watched Picard this morning first. Dude, I got up at 5, dude, and I could only get through half of Strange New World.
Ooh.
Well, you'll get through the rest and hop on to our space later on tonight if you have some time. I don't know, it's a lot of streaming, but you're all welcome to come on the space later on. Also, it's tonight at 9:30. I know I was very ambitious. I was like, I can't do Picard and Strange New Worlds at the same time on Sunday, so I was like, let me go back to these Thursday night streams. And it was crazy getting here, by the way. There was like a tree fell down. There was like lightning and thunder and all these things. And I was like, oh, I remember how stressful it was to get here by 7:30. It was like such a mission to get here from work. But I did it. I got here. My shuttlecraft got me here. So are you ready to go? Let's go with this discussion. Oh, I did it again. Oops, I did it again. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, so let's see here. So Star Trek Picard Season 2, farewell. So Soong is on his way to the, they think he's on his way back to his lab to do some mischief. And when they get to the lab, they find out that he's actually not there. T'Lyn and Picard, T'Lyn originally was just going to go keep an eye on Renee, as is her job, and Picard hops on with her because he doesn't want her to be alone, and he also thinks that she's going to like sacrifice herself because of the Borg Queen's prophecy about the 2 Renees that have to die. And so he goes and he tries to stop her, and she's like, don't try to stop me. It's my choice. I have agency. And he's like, okay, fine, sorry. And then, so then she like successfully manages to meet Renee and have a moment with her, which she's never done. She's only had like little encounters here and there. Beautiful scene. Orla Brady acting her freaking heart out and doing an amazing job, in my opinion. But anyways, so she does that. Meanwhile, Soong is not at his lab. He has these drones set to go. Seven, Rafi, and Rios have to try to disarm them or do something to like sabotage them. Soong is actually at the launch site trying to get to meet the, using his like corruptness and his power to try and meet the astronauts, but specifically Renee. He has a little thing that he put on his hand which has poison, and so Orla Brady convinces T'Lyn convinces Renee to trust her and let her assume her persona. And so in fact Soong thinks he kills Renee, but he kills T'Lyn by poisoning her. So Renee successfully gets on the Shango and heads into space, but then T'Lyn dies in Jean-Luc's arms, and it's very sweet, tender scene. Soong, meanwhile, thwarted in every possible way, goes back to his lab, and then his daughter, Corey, erases all his files and all his genetic experiments, and she's like, fuck you, Dad, which she doesn't actually say that, but that's what she meant. And so then he's like, damn it, all right, fine, let me dig up this thing that happened to be in my file drawer, and it's the Khan project. And so we know what that's going to turn into because of Enterprise. If y'all have seen Enterprise, there's another Soong that comes back and he raised some eugenics babies that are based on the whole Khan thing. Anyways, so that ends the Soong part of it. So everything's good. Renee makes it into space. She's safe. The timeline is restored. So our motley crew is stuck in the past, so they decide to hang out at Chateau Picard for a bit. But then and Jean-Luc realizes, I need to put this skeleton key back where I'll find it when I'm a little boy to let my mom out, even though that was super traumatic. I can't change it because that's what made me the person that I am today. And when he does that act, I just got goosebumps. Q shows up and he's like, Jean-Luc, you accepted yourself, you forgave yourself, you decided to you decided to love yourself, and so maybe someone will now be able and accept yourself completely, and so now maybe someone else will be able to love you. I'm dying, but I don't want, and I'm dying alone, but I don't want you to die alone. So this is my final gift to you. I hope you don't mind that I tried to kill you so many times this season and all that stuff. But but now I'm gonna use the last energy I have to get you and your motley crew back home. So Jean-Luc goes and tells the motley crew about this. And Rios, he's kind of hesitant and stuff. They get over to the spot in the forest. Raffi actually tries to kill Q. Like she straight up grabs his neck, and she's like, she almost called him a MF as well. and then Rios decides, no, I'm gonna stay back in the past and hang out with Dr. Teresa. I almost called her Mother Teresa, but she's practically a Mother Teresa. I mean, she is a mother. Her name is Teresa. I never caught that till now. Anyway, so he decides to stay back. He says time is a funny thing. He thanks Jean-Luc for being like a family member, a father even. And then so Raffi, Seven, Jean-Luc decide to take up Q on his offer, and they go back. Jean-Luc gives Q a big hug, which made me cry like a baby. Q snaps his finger. We're right back on the Stargazer where we began, but minus Girardi and minus Rios, because we know why, because they actually ended up having different fates. But the Borg Queen that we were all speculating about, who many people knew was Girardi because we knew it like a few episodes ago, but I was still kind of like, is it going to be someone else? Is it going to be Mama? I don't know. But it ends up being Girardi, which is pretty awesome. And she's kind of like dead in her eyes, which creeped me out, but it was awesome at the same time. And we realized that what she's doing is that there's this like a spatial anomaly that's just opened up, and it's about to expel like a tremendous amount of energy and cause a tremendous amount of damage in this sector of the galaxy. So she actually showed up 400 years later to try to stop this thing. So they stop the self-destruct. She gets control of the whole fleet. They all line up. They do this like cool shield thing with all the ships. Elnor is fucking alive, and I was so happy because I was gonna be so mad if he was permanently dead or the hologram wasn't there. So anyways, the Excelsior has to get its act together in the last moment. The shield holds. This like cool energy expels. Everything's all good. The planets are saved. Girardi and everyone have like a little moment, but then we find out from Girardi, she says like, there is actually a threat. It's only a small piece of the puzzle. We can't see the whole thing. Only Terry Metalis knows what the heck's behind that thing. And so we're going to be a guardian at the gate. So they're going to stand guard. So I imagine next season something's going to come through that gate. Anyways, so they decide to do that. Mission successful. I forgot one of the coolest things. Seven becomes a captain. She gets a field commission rather, I should say. She becomes captain, and I think she's going to be captain of the Stargazer, which is awesome. And as Tex Trek pointed out in his grill, she seems to inherit Rios's ships. So like that's like a funny, interesting thing. Anyways, they all go back to Earth. The story ends in 10 forward. Guinan relays some information, really heartwarming information about Rios and Teresa and Ricardo and Renee as well. They all became besties. They all changed the world. The oceans were clean. The skies were clean. The oceans were healed. Rios died smoking a cigar, smoking hot, I imagine. Teresa died in her old age. So we get a nice little wrap up to their story. And then Jean-Luc goes over and toasts his friends. And then I'm a little disappointed about this part, but whatever. So then he goes back and he seems to like confess his love for Laris, and it's like whatever. He totally forgot about Beverly and didn't even care about her, and Laris is his true love or whatever, I guess. But they don't even kiss. They just kind of hold hands, and then the episode ends. How'd I do?
You missed a very important part. It was great.
Oh shit! What'd I forget?
Corey and
oh yes. Sorry, that was a very important part. Yeah. So Corey, after she sabotages her father's work, she gets another note on her computer. These like godlike entities like to send her notes on her computer. But anyway, she gets another note on her computer, and this time it's from Wesley Crusher, aka the Traveler. and he invites her to become one. Well, he invites her to become like a supervisor or something. But anyways, he invites her to become a traveler. There are these like we finally find out what happened to Wesley, because there was a deleted scene in was it Nemesis, which I'm glad was deleted, because this is a much better fate. I think he was like a ensign or something on the Titan, but this is a much better fate for him. He ends up becoming what we all thought he would, which is like this like ethereal being that goes around doing good all over the universe. And so Corey's going to be a part of that too. So I don't know how that'll play into next season, or if it will at all. But it was a sweet little touching moment, and it was great to see Will Wheaton back. He's kind of wanted to do this for a long time, so it was a wonderful treat for him, as well as for fans of Wesley Crusher, which I am. So thanks for reminding me of that, Patrick. I can't believe I forgot about that.
And we find out, essentially, I think what we find out is that the travelers are the ones who essentially employ the supervisors, who are the Gary Sevens of the world.
Right, exactly.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. That's Picard season 2, episode 10, farewells summary. What did you all think about it? Why don't you start, Johnny?
Well, as I've said before in like the spaces last week and the week before, this season hasn't been like my favorite. However, this finale, I was just like, y'all just got me. Like, you just got me in the door with this finale, because I feel like they wrap things up very, very well. However, nonetheless, I still think that the season to me was just like 2 episodes too long. It was a tad bit boring at times. I feel like, for me personally, I would have, especially when it came to the flashbacks of like Picard's childhood with his mother, I would have preferred that have been its own like standalone episode, or at least its own like continuous montage within an episode, versus like bits and pieces throughout various episodes, because I just felt like it was kind of dragged on. Especially when they showcase like how Picard's mother died. I kind of saw that coming in like the earlier episodes, so I just felt like it would have been better to put that all together. However, in terms of just like the finale, I thought it was phenomenal. I'm very surprised at how well they wrapped it up, because I felt like this season was just a little bit all over the place, Seeing Will Wheaton was just like, I had to like pause it and rewind because I was so confused for a second. But I was really happy to see that. And I also was thinking to myself, I'm like, I bet you Will Wheaton at Mission Chicago was like sitting during his panel like, oh, y'all motherfuckers have no idea what's about to happen, like. So like for me, I'm like, oh wow, you better than me, because I feel like I would have spoiled it for everyone. But I will say the death of Q was a little lackluster. It was very sentimental, and I really appreciate that, because I did tear up and I did cry a little bit. Because I've always loved Q, and I will always love Q. I've loved all the other characters that have played different Q people, and I'm really, really hoping that they do bring the Q species back in a future series. But I do feel like the death of a Q would have some type of galactic consequence. Because I see, the same way like a star-going supernova is going to have, like, it's a beautiful event, but it's going to have like, and you can't stand too close to it or whatever, right? I feel like, Q just isn't just going to die and turn into nothingness. That energy or the continuum, it's from what we know, it's supposed to be its own dimension. So it's what's going on with that. But I thought it was really well. And I will say last thought, I do think that the way that they like kind of ended things between Corey and Dr. Soon was a little corny. I felt like they you found out your dad, you're like an experiment. Your dad has, been doing this for like years and years and years, and like you just delete his work and go on and join Wesley in space. I feel like there's a conversation that should have been had. But I thoroughly enjoyed this finale in comparison to the entire season.
Right.
But sorry, last thought. Okay. I do think also, I'm so sorry, but Girardi as a board, I don't know who was in charge of the makeup and hair and stuff, but she looks so bad in comparison to the other actress who played the board queen this season. I just felt like the look, she kind of like a big baby, if that makes sense, like a whole baby. it just wasn't working for me. It just wasn't working for me.
Are you saying Alison Pill's button nose and rosy cheeks is a little too not scary enough?
I couldn't tell you. She looked like have you ever seen this like an old Disney Channel movie called Sky High? And it's like this brainiac character, like she looks like that, like a big baby with like a big head. I was just like, I can't do it. It's not scary. It's not scary.
Now I have to watch it again with that perspective. That's funny. Patrick, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was crap. No, no, I joke. So
you could. No, you're allowed to think it's crap.
I did. I actually loved it. I loved it. I thought so good. I agree with Johnny. I think episodes 1 and 2 and episode 10, great. Those middle 7 episodes, like we spent a little too much time in the past, and all.
Yeah, it felt like the season might have been a little too protracted, right? Like some of the stories were, or some of the things were just a bit protracted. But carry on. Sorry.
No, yeah, like and not just like in all of the past, like in Picard's past, in the 21st century, all of that stuff. You know, I talked about this on Twitter. The fact is, unlike the first season, they wrote this season completely before they filmed it. So they kind of like had this whole plan set up. So it was kind of like one story, which kind of meant that some of this like episodes kind of dragged to get to what they knew the end was going to be already. So, but I still liked it. Wesley, phenomenal. Wesley Crusher crushed it.
I couldn't help. I don't know if you all remember the Travelers, the umbrella, you know, the company with the umbrella, the Travelers. I couldn't help when he's like, "Welcome to the Travelers," but think of like the commercial for the Travelers. That was the only thing about that made me kind of chuckle. Took me out of it, but otherwise it was perfect. It was perfect. But yeah,
I adored how it ended. I adored how everyone's little stories ended. I adored that we got to see Whoopi Goldberg-Guinan again. I adored, that Guinan like did this thing because like One Piece is there's apparently been a picture in 10 Forward of Rios, but in the past this whole time, and she's like, "You've always been more clever than you have been observant." And I was like, "Yas, Dragon Queen."
She's totally throwing shade at Jean-Luc.
Yeah,
really
she's
funny.
like, I always thought it would be a spoiler, and it was great.
That was funny.
It's weird because I do feel like Borg Girardi sets up the 3rd season.
Right.
But also Alison Pill is like, "Deuces, I'm not in season 3.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm not in season 3.
I find it just so interesting that it does feel like so many things are setting up this 3rd season. Like they've created this like galactic ending event because, unlike what Q says, everything in Star Trek does have to be a galactic ending event these days.
Yeah, he did say that. That's funny.
Because he kind of shaded Star Trek on its own.
Star Trek's throwing shade at Star Trek. That's funny.
I'm going.
What happened?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, you broke up, and I thought I was breaking up.
Oh no, breaking up is hard to do.
I'm seeing some hate in the comments, and I'm judging you all that are hating on it. So
yeah, there's some folks in there. I don't know what they're talking about in there, but someone clean up the.
It's rude.
Yeah, someone clean up the comments. I think it was Trek on the Tube causing some trouble in there.
It was.
Yeah, Trek on the Tube, chill out, man. I'm gonna come on your streams and like totally mess up your vibe and your mood. Trek on the Tube. Why do you come on this stream and talk? Face us, you coward. Face us. That's what I say to Trek on the Tube. Coward. Coward, face us. If he's even still listening, he's probably not listening. He's folding laundry or something. Trek on the Tube confesses that he watches these shows folding laundry, so I can't take him seriously anymore because I don't think he pays attention.
No, you have to be paying attention.
You have to be paying attention. Even if you hate it, you got to pay attention so you could talk about it like rationally. No, I'm sorry. I'm just teasing Sean. Sean, don't take that seriously. He's probably mad right now, he's throwing things at a TV and stuff. He's punching a TV right now.
He's throwing his clothes at a TV because he's folding laundry.
He's folding laundry. It's true.
I will say this: I am seeing comments. I do wish. I don't like that we did spend a little more time in the finale. Like, we spent so much of the finale wrapping up the stories, and this is why the season set up like it was kind of crappy, because there were so many good like messages throughout the season about us as a society, which they also hit on in the premiere of Strange New Worlds.
And it kind of connects nicely too, I feel like, to what we've been seeing. Yeah, very cool.
But so I do wish we spent a little more time on kind of like these messages about I feel like what they try to do is make a movie into a 10-episode season.
Yeah.
See, Johnny knows.
Braxton, what are you...
This was the... sorry, Braxton.
Oh, go no.
Second. This was the one with the whales, but they made it a season. And the one with the whales is a movie. It's not a
Can we call this the one with the butterflies? Because they mentioned butterflies like in every episode, right?
Las Mariposas.
Las Mariposas. Yeah, it's true. Very true. Braxton, what did you think?
So, a thing that I thought was like, does Q have powers or does he not? Like, okay, so I was trying to imagine it like, okay, well, like a person who is like sick, they have good days and they have bad days. Like, you have days where your arthritis is so bad that like you can't even walk. And then you have days that, you're good. And so, you can like walk and like live like normally. I would have like, if there was like a line somewhere, like a few episodes back, and he's like, oh, like, yeah, like sometimes I have powers and sometimes I don't. Like, it's just like what I'm going through right now. Then I would like, because the thing is, I feel like he was riding like the subway and the bus to like come to the FBI building to talk to Guinan, but then he's able to snap people like 500 years. Like, that didn't make sense to me. I just didn't understand how that was happening. So like, I didn't like that. And then I was appalled to see Will Wheaton. And so the thing about it is like,
were you really appalled?
Yes, I felt like I was seeing Will Wheaton, not like I was seeing Wesley Crusher. Like, I wanted him to be wearing something spacey. I wanted him to be clean shaven and not have that straggly Will Wheaton beard. Like, I feel like he looked like Will Wheaton looked on the street, and I did not enjoy that. I wanted to see Wesley Crusher, not Will Wheaton.
I agree with that, Braxton. I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm. So, something that I took from this is, because like I feel like it begins with like him not taking Laris's hand, and it ends with him taking Laris's hand. I think that I come away with it like, okay, well, take the hand that is given to you, but I just didn't like those two things. Like, especially like, does Q have powers or not? I just didn't like.
My read about it is that Q has been using he's this like kind of godlike being. He has like an awareness that it works in two ways. One, you can write whatever you want, and it's great because he's omnipotent, But two, my take or my read on it is that like he knows exactly how much power he has left. So he's been like using it very wisely throughout this time. Like, that's why he didn't just snap into the FBI, interrogation. He had to walk over, whatever, take a bus, whatever he did to get over there, But two things that he did do, like, you could tell whatever he gave to Corey was Q magic, because it, like, the first time it was just temporary. The second time, I do have a lot of questions about Q, but anyways, the second time it was like, actually it worked because it definitely cured her, right? So he must have used Q powers to do that, and then he was saving it truly to, I think, just like in all good things, we thought that Q was his adversary, and he was very adversarial, and he was putting all these roadblocks in their ways and like putting all these things, but he was also secretly helping them. And he had told Jean-Luc that the Q continuum was the one that put them on trial, but that he has to be the like the executor or like the judge of it, right? But he tells Jean-Luc, but I'm helping you here and there wherever I can. What is in the comment? What are you reading in the comments? What's going on?
Oh
Here?
no. Like Q said, Q told Jean-Luc that he was his favorite person, but then I was remembering when he slapped the shit out of Jean-Luc.
Yeah. Oh yeah, our friend Mick Jost, who writes for Cineblend, said that in the audience earlier today. Everyone go check him out. He's a cool guy, and you could read his articles that he wrote. He actually interviewed Will Wheaton. I haven't had a chance to read the article yet, but there's Mick. Hey Mick, nice to see you. So yeah, he also slapped the hell out of him. It's true. He's like Q. I think Q could be the topic of like a whole hour long show in my opinion, and to try to figure out what's going on with Q. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But Braxton, were you happy about Seven and Rafi and the Borg Queen and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. So I also thought the CG of Agnes's face when the mask veil thing came kind of peeled off, I thought that was some janky CG. I was like, why couldn't you just have used like the practical effects of like the makeup like they did the other actress? I think that it would have looked 100% better. Like
Let's
when
take a look
Johnny
here.
was saying that, just the CG looked just like really weird. Like it just looked really like smooth and like gnarly. It didn't look as good as Annie Wersching's Borg Queen makeup.
Here we go. Here's Girardi in the makeup here.
It's giving Gerber baby. It's giving Gerber baby.
It is. And here's the thing. I love Alison Pill.
Yeah, me too. She was phenomenal this season, by the way. We're not making fun of her
No,
just because of this, but yeah.
I'm devoted that we're not getting more Allison. And also, one thing I'll say about this season, even in episodes where it dragged, the acting, especially from the side characters, the non-Picard characters, the ones that we're not familiar with, like Alison Pill, has been on point.
Yeah, totally. I'm not sure what's behind why she had to I guess no, it does make sense. She's trying. Okay, so I get why she had to hide her face, but to me, this the side view here that looks pretty Borg-ish. Like she's got the helm piece there, and she's got these she still has these to me the impression I have is that Girardi and the Borg Queen, this combination of them has never fully assimilated. There's still a lot of humanity in her. So it's almost like they've found a balance between becoming Borg and staying whatever species they are. So that's why she, maybe they'll refine the makeup in season 3 for whatever version of the Borg, if we see them at all. Terry Matalas did say that this is a standalone season, but I don't believe anything any of them say because it would ruin surprises. You know what I mean? So they probably intentionally will say things like it's not going to happen or whatever,
You know how people with severe diabetes, how their lower extremities turn black and stuff did? That's what Agnes's head looks like to me right now.
Oh,
It's
wow.
about to fall off.
It's atrophying a little bit. There's what is that called? When your muscles, atrophy. I think but there would be that. Remember the Borg flesh always does look gray and dead, but I like that they kept. I don't know. It's very interesting. But yeah, I now I can't stop seeing the baby thing, but the giant baby
Here's
face.
Here's the thing, though. It's because when they created the Borg Queen makeup for First Contact, it was created for just of different facial structures. The facts of the matter.
Right,
and,
that's true.
Alison Pill does have a rounder face, kind of just more like the baby face. So they just. They created Alison Pill as this Borg Queen and are still trying to get Borg Queen vibe, even though it was very specifically created for a different facial structure. And that's why all the other 3 Borg Queens have all looked like fucking sisters. If you see them together, you're like, oh, I get it. And then there's Alison Pill. And then there's Maud. which is a joke most of you won't get.
I don't get it. Cake is Eternal is saying that Will Wheaton is a pretty good as a voice actor. Oh, let me put myself here. I don't like to block my guests. All right, Will Wheaton is a pretty good as a voice actor, overacting, and his enthusiasm suits voice work better. So hopefully a Lower Decks cameo, like someone said above, would suit him better. I liked him. I didn't think there was any. I mean, I do see what you guys are saying. Like, he wasn't wearing like a spacesuit or anything like that. He was just hanging out like in regular clothing. But I guess he's in LA and he has to fit in this time, so it makes kind of sense the way he was. I will say that I do have a critique. I definitely have a critique, but it's like a little nitpick of that scene. And let me see if I can pull it up here. The image from that. For that scene in particular, I felt that the transporter they should have phased out. He should have phased out like the travelers do. You remember like that effect where they like kind of phase or whatever? I felt like that was a missed opportunity for sure, because it just looks like he's transporting onto a starship, and I wanted it to be more of like him using his travelers powers to get through there. Do you guys have any thoughts on the Europa mission, Renee, Talon, and Soong scene that we didn't go over in our summary?
One quick thing really fast before we leave that.
Back to Will Wheaton, you mean?
Yes, we should warn young women that they should just not go off with men that they don't know. Like, that's the equivalent to like getting in a car with a man that you met 3 seconds ago.
Come on, it's Wesley. You would vouch for Wesley.
Girl,
though.
Don't do it.
I did want to go off what Braxton was saying. Until you said it, like, I thought that I was the only one, but when I was watching it, same thing. Will Wheaton, I was so happy to see him, loved him, but I saw Will Wheaton, I didn't see Wesley. There wasn't that like. I mean, Wesley obviously would be a grown man, clearly, but I still feel like he would always have this boyish charm to him, this kind of wise, smart ass type of like feel to him. So I felt like he did a good job, because I actually, I agree with who was a Cake is Eternal, in terms of I do think he's a better voice actor, because he was recently in an episode of Criminal Minds, and he played a villain, and he did a good job. Like, he did a good job playing the villain, but there was just certain parts where like you could kind of tell, like, oh, Will Wheaton is reading a line right now. This isn't that villain. So hopefully if they take the Travelers and they have a spinoff or some type of movie or something, we can see more from Will Wheaton, especially because I also feel like, it's not like he's been in these huge major projects, you know what I'm saying? Like any blockbuster movies or anything like that. So he may be a tad bit rusty,
I think this was for the fans and for Will Wheaton. Like, I don't know if we'll see the Traveler come back again. They did write him a really beautiful line. I actually wrote it down. Was the universe is essentially a grand tapestry. It is flawless. It is fragile. It is exquisite. Yet it is somehow always a thread's pull away from total annihilation. And he goes on, to talk more about that and how like, like a star explodes here and then, a ship gets, lost, or like a civilization thrives and then another one, fails or whatever. So yeah, there was a really interesting thing talking about how like from maybe like the close-up perspective, things can be chaotic, but from like the grand perspective, there's this like picture or this, and I think the whole season kind of went in and out of that, like destiny versus like what's actually, the present and stuff like that. Wow, Will Wheaton just changed my lights. That's weird. And the Traveler's coming for me. But yeah, I like that. But I don't think we'll see him in season 3. I think he was telling the truth. I'm not in season 3. He just omitted the fact that he was in season 2. So like, I think that's what's going on there. But yeah, going back to like the Europa, what did you guys think of finally the conclusion to Renee Picard? How do you feel about Renee? How do you feel about like the Soong thing, in detail, and T'Lyn dying? No feelings.
It was boring.
Yeah, it was the least interesting part of the episode. I do like Renee. The best thing I liked about the Renee thing is how like they talked about Auntie Renee with the little boy later, how Guinan was like, his Auntie Renee, Because like otherwise, the whole Europa storyline was a no from me today.
Right. Nice. Well, I did happen to take some notes from that I did like, which is the whole T'Lyn thing was great. So like that's the part that like I ate up about it, and also Sir Patrick's acting with her, and I do like the scene here that we have here in these pictures, and she says, "You won't let me. It's not up to you. This is my life. You don't get to stop me from fulfilling my purpose because you're scared. I'm gonna die. Because you're scared I'm gonna die. My fate is not yours to decide." And then she says something like, I know something now. This was really touching, actually. It actually hit home to me personally because, like, I think when in my, just personally, and I don't know, maybe a lot of folks do this, we always try to make kind of like reasons why we won't tell someone how we feel about them. And she says, I know something now. The secrets we keep, all the reasons we never tell someone we love them, they're worthless. And it's true. It's holding us back from telling someone, whether it's a friend, a parent, a lover, we always sometimes hold back from saying how we feel about them because we think it's going to be too much or whatever. And it can be, you got to deliver things the right way, of course, but it's also healthy to like express yourself and say things, that you're feeling. And I like that about that.
Totally. So I thought that this was, that it was a touching scene, when Talon, kind of died in his arms. I was very concerned when, Renee, or what we thought of as Renee, encountered us soon. And he was like, oh, yeah, girl, I just poisoned you.
Yeah,
and,
this scene right here.
and, and then, like, we saw the face turn. And I thought it was really powerful. The Talon, died in his arms,
Also, Rios had this moment, like, I feel like this would be a great position for Ricardo, who was playing video games, right? Wasn't he playing video games, or am I thinking of something else? I think I'm thinking of something else. But anyways, but yeah, here's the scene where she dies just as the Europa mission successfully goes into space. And he says, "Look up," which is the line that his mother told him. So I thought that was very sweet as well.
Yeah.
I like that Picard kind of accepted that she was going to do her thing, and that what he really needed to do was be there for her and not try to stop her and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed all that. Yeah, to me this was like, you're right, like in the sense that like maybe the Europa storyline didn't like quite meet up to like the expectations, because like that's the thing about season 2. We're gonna do a season 2 discussion, like a full discussion of the season, but to me in a lot of ways season 2 was stronger than season 1 and more entertaining. But in other ways, I think I have to really watch the season again before I give a final verdict on this. But there were a lot of things that were kind of scattered, and like what I think like someone in the audience was saying, like certain stories that could have lasted a few episodes only lasted like one episode, and other stories that could have lasted just one episode seemed to last a few episodes. So like maybe they got the mark wrong on that. But yeah, certainly the thing about this season that I think like touched me the most is just the performances. So like a lot of times, a lot of times a show may not make total sense, but if the acting's really good, I end up falling for it because like I just love stuff like that. Do you guys for Star Trek lore people, what did you guys think? Oh, I forgot to show this scene. That's so beautiful when he like kisses her on the forehead and stuff like that, and she transforms into herself. Her death was also horrifying. Her eyes were bloodshot and stuff. Like it was sad. But yeah, Soong gets pissed off. Corey deletes all the stuff. And then Project Khan, like, what do you guys think of Project Khan? Like, what did that make you guys stir up in you?
I know who Khan. I know who Khan is, but Enterprise tie-in, like I don't remember that from Enterprise. I didn't watch it that deeply. But yeah, he's got a backup plan, dude.
Season 4 of Enterprise introduces like a Soong.
What was his name? Was it Eric?
Was it Eric? Yeah.
I think it was Eric. Right? Yeah, Eric Soong. Yeah.
Creates who like kept some of the embryos of the
eugenics experiments.
What we do know though is that they have changed, even though this is dated 1996, but we do know that they have kind of officially changed the canon of when the eugenics wars happen. So
yes,
we know that they actually happen after this.
Although, look, so they kept some things in canon. Like, so for example, if you look at the date, it says like June 7th.
Exactly. So this is the right date for like
Khan. So I think the Botany Bay still left, like, and there was like so according to the books, there was like a secret war that happened, but then I think there's another war that's coming.
Yeah, I think that they, even though I loved those books, and I know exactly the books you're talking about, the Eugenics Wars books, I think they're ignoring it all. And I think Project Khan, what they're getting at is that Khan didn't exist until after this. I think that's really what they're saying.
Okay, I like this comment. Do you want Project Shaka Khan? I kind of do.
If anyone likes RuPaul, you know that RuPaul loves to say Shaka Khan. She was on The Weakest Link, a celebrity edition, and she didn't know the answer, and she said Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan. I love that. By the way, for Drag Race fans, there's Drag Race All Stars coming up sometime. Did it already start?
Dude, May 20th.
May 20th. Yes, May's a big month. Wow.
On Paramount Plus, which gives us the great Star Trek universe shows. So, you know, the next thing, here's the thing. I'm waiting for the RuPaul appearance in a Star Trek episode.
Oh, that has to happen.
We need the crossover.
It also has to be live action. It can't be. I feel like RuPaul needs to be live action 100%.
So, you know, RuPaul has done animated versions of her that get really funny, and I do think seeing her on
Lower Decks would be great.
I agree. Hilarious.
Ed says, I googled June 7th, 1996 in Memory Alpha to see if Project Khan was written during the Voyager episode Future's End. Oh.
Was it, Ed?
Yeah, was it? Thanks for telling us you Googled it. Tell us if it was. I guess it was. When did wasn't Future's End like around the same time?
That was the thing, is that like, and that's kind of what has started and why, you know, the secret war thing had to happen with Eugenics Wars books, because it did happen in 1996, Future's End, but there was no like mass world, you know, war where like one person seemed to take over a third of the world. So that's how they had to tie it in, and that's why the books were like they were, the Greg Cox books, which are phenomenal, and I still recommend, even though they've been retconned now. But yes, they happened in 1996.
This is another good missed opportunity, I feel. We never got any explanation why they picked 2024, no past tense connection. I guess it's just like a hotbed year. Like, it seems to be just like a very integral year in humanity in the Star Trek universe. So like, we do have in a few months we'll have Cisco come to the same time period in San Francisco and get involved with the Bell riots and assume the identity of Gabriel Bell. So yeah, it's going to be it is an interesting time,
which will lead to a lot of the issues that will lead to Earth saving itself, which will lead to Strange New Worlds.
Right.
Watch it.
Right. But also we still have World War III that hasn't happened. So it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it's going to suck.
Yeah. Robbie is saying, let's see, I also thought the whole transwarp thing came out of nowhere and was pretty anticlimactic. Well, I think that's because it's like trying to set up something for next season, but I don't know. It's true. It's like, I did like it, though.
That's where it's weird. It's like, if it's setting up something for next season, why is Allison Pill not in it? Or is it just like it was weird to me.
Do we know that Allison Pill isn't in season 3?
She said she's not, but I don't trust always. Yeah, I don't trust always what folks are saying because, Will Wheaton straight up. It would ruin some surprises, I feel like. So I get it when actors or like even Terry Matalas is saying like it's a standalone season. It might not be. Maybe there are going to be things that carry over. They just don't want us to know because they're like, no, like, we want to surprise you and stuff like that.
Ruben out here with his season 2 will not matter. Just like season 1 didn't matter. Ruben, I see you, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, not only that, season one mattered a lot. I feel like, and especially in the beginning of season two, Ruben just I don't read his comments anymore, but you guys can read them if you like. So if you want to like pay attention to Ruben, that's fine. You can hear him rant all about this in After Dark. I give him his space in After Dark, and I try not to argue with him there. So if you guys want to hear Ruben, maybe this week, although we will be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and also all the other stuff that came out this week, like Halo and Moon Knight and all that good stuff. So yeah, tune in for that, and to hear Ruben like fully have his space. I'm gonna give Ruben his captain's chair, just like 7 of 9. I'm gonna give him a field commission to captain, so that he could talk all he wants about this season. Over there. But anyways, oh wait, I already did this slide. Where are we? Oh yeah, this is what I meant to say. So Seven and Rafi finally kiss.
Oh, that's a good shot, dude.
I do love this shot, a lot of them. But what did you guys think of the conclusion of their whole storyline this season?
It was cute.
I loved it. I really loved it, especially because I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but like the whole season, I just kept thinking, are they together? Are they not together? Are they just really good friends? And so earlier when I was watching the episode and they just kissed, I was like, oh, awesome, lesbians in space. I just love it so much. So, and I also think it's really important to, that they're showcasing not just a lesbian relationship, but a relationship in general between two women who I believe both actresses are past the age of 50, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh wow!
Wow. But nonetheless, I could be wrong about that.
You're not. You're correct.
Okay, but yeah, I think it's really important that we showcase just love like that, especially when it comes to older people in general, older queer people, because you can still find love even if you're 50, at least on the third, and be a starship captain.
Hey, that's reassuring for me because I'm like getting to the 50s now. I'm like heading there. Starfleet Boy's 44 next week on Wednesday.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Starfleet Boy.
Oh, your birthday is next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, yeah. It's May 11th, which is the date of the Battle of the Binary Stars. I don't know if you guys know that.
Oh, that's my grandmother's birthday. I don't even have to write that down. I remember it.
Yeah, me and your grand. That's nice. That's very cool.
But even more so though. So, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even more so though, we really need for Picard season 3 to set up Star Trek Stargazer, starring
7 of 9, starring
and Rafi.
And Rafi, yep.
Wait,
she looked good next to her as their commander. 7 looked great in that chair, and you saw Rafi sitting next to her, very proud.
Like as her first officer, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, if Will and Deanna can do it, so can 7 and Rafi, right? Like,
I want more Michelle Hurd in Star Trek so badly.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. I just need her more. Her and Jay Ryan, they can both. I don't whatever they want to do. I'll support it.
Preach.
So Akiva Goldsman was saying like the whole thing about this relationship, it was to show them working out tough time. They were going through tough times as a couple, and it was to show them working out. So like a lot of people were complaining like, we didn't see them, blah blah blah, like we didn't see them bonding. There was a year and a half between the first season and the second season, and that's how relationships go. Not all relationships are going to be like rosy and stuff like that, and it's really well done. I thought they did a good job where Rafi was expressing like how she kind of let 7 go because she didn't follow 7 because, well, she was interested in her Starfleet career, but also she didn't want to stop 7 from saving people, which is what 7 wanted to do. She wanted to be a ranger and go out there and continue doing that, and it's something that she was very familiar with. And interestingly enough, we do see in a flashback, Rafi, she already lost 7, and so she kind of like guilts Elnor. That was the whole thing, is that she guilted Elnor into staying because she couldn't bear it. She lost her son last season. She lost 7 to like, she let 7 go, and then she was about to lose Elnor, and that was just too much for her. So I think there was a lot there, which I think there is a lot there. And if you're like focused on wanting to see their relationship, go and listen to the I think the audiobook that they released, right, talks about that a little bit. There's plenty of that in there, so you can go and check that out. Again, my opinion is that there's some lazy viewers out there that don't want to do any work. They want everything shown to them on screen, and
It's not
I
an
don't buy it.
audiobook. It is
Oh,
what do they
sorry,
call
an
it?
audio drama, right?
Yes, an audio drama, and it does sound like we're going to be getting a lot more of that. I forget if it was Akiva or if it was who it was, but maybe what's his face? The guy who Kurtzman said that we will be getting like podcasts, maybe dramatic podcasts.
Wow, like the old radio dramas that you used to hear on. That's great.
You know, Doctor Who has been doing this.
Yeah,
for its whole existence
with the Big Finish. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Ruben says Starfleet Boy wants TV to give him homework. Yeah, I actually do. I love it. I love thinking. I love like watching something and wondering. Like no one wants to wonder anymore. Like everyone wants everything fed to them and told and shown everything. It's like have a little use that brain. Like if you don't use that muscle, it ain't gonna work. You got to use it. So use it or lose it. So yeah, absolutely. Starfleet Boy wants the fucking homework. Give me the homework. I want it. Jude says, great point. Seeing Seven and Rafi bond was not the story they wanted to tell. Exactly. That was off camera, and that's fine with me. Man, those cats love the hell out of Braxton. Yes, we need nuance, not whimsy. I agree. Thank you, audience, for bringing it back. Yeah, let's silence those nasty haters in the audience. But anyways, let's go to my favorite part of the whole thing was Q. We talked about this in the episode summary, but we have Q and Picard. And this was just like really special. I think this was like something on not only was it just like a really cool moment, and again, not without its problems. There's a lot of questions I have about Q and the state of his mind that aren't really answered or anything like that. And why was he originally trying to kill Picard? It seems like he was bent on killing Picard at first, and and then later, it's like almost like Q stopped doing it and then the Borg Queen started doing it. So there's like a lot of things that like I still have to, on second viewing, maybe I'll glean some more knowledge about it or make more sense to me because maybe the anticipation was just killing me or whatever. But this scene in particular, this little ending was exactly what I would have liked. It's exactly the kind of like thing that I wanted from Q and Jean-Luc. And, just I like the style of it. It's like when I was in drama class, like oftentimes you just sat on a stage on chairs and you performed against another performer, like especially when you're just reading lines and stuff like that. And they kind of gave us that here. It was just very simple. Like the set was bare, it's just like a room and two chairs and two actors just acting their heart out. And I loved it. Q says, humans, your goal, your grief, your pains fix you to the moments in the past long gone. You're like butterflies with your wings pinned. And then he says, my old friend, forever the boy who with the errant turn of a skeleton key broke the universe in his own heart. No more. You are now unshackled from the past. As I leave you free. And then the other part that I really liked was when he says to him, and this is the part that made me cry, like in the episode, which is, you ask me why it matters. It matters to me. You matter to me. Even gods have favorites, Jean-Luc, and you've always been one of mine. So yeah, this was a really great moment. What did you guys think in detail about this?
That was powerful, when he said that you've always been one of my favorites. But, I thought about when he slapped the shit out of Jean-Luc in the first in the first episode. And to me it just didn't make sense. Does Q have powers or not? That didn't make sense. Him saying that Jean-Luc was one of his favorites. Like, okay, like maybe like sometimes people show people love in weird ways. But he slapped the shit out of him. And I don't know, like the Q stuff was just weird for me this season. Like I almost feel like why did they even bother to use Q? Like why do this bad story with such a loved character who's actually really interesting, you know? The Q stuff is really bad for me. Um, I appreciated like the sentimentality of it all, but it felt a little ridiculous with some of the things that Q had done in earlier episodes. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that some of the other stuff undermines it a little bit, but for me, it was easy for me to look past that just because I love John Delancey, and again, it boiled down to me for yeah, again, I'll have to really kind of think about it when I see the season again, but yeah, to me, it kind of like made up for it a little bit, but yeah, maybe it won't hold up when I watch it again. What about you, Patrick or Johnny? What did you guys think?
My thought going to what Braxton was saying is that like Q knew uh Jude is saying it right now. Like Q knew exactly what he needed to do at each point to make things happen, and he knew he needed to slap some sense into
Hmm.
Jean Luc at one point. He knew he needed. I feel like he kind of. So I get what you're saying. It's not. It's completely valid, uh, but I feel like he really knew kind of what he had to do along the way to get to this outcome, which was this kind of personal redemption for Jean Luc, uh, which I just adored. And I don't know, like if we're getting to it yet, but the hug.
I see it now. Putting Renee in danger is the only way Talon would have acted to save her, and that's the only way that Jean Luc would have let Talon do what she needed to do instead of trying to I get it now. See, it's
Yep,
like very, it's
yep.
very timey. Time is a funny thing, as Q says. As Rio says, and Q's like, yes, it is, because that does make sense. We have to remember that Q has, even with diminished powers, like supreme knowledge of time and
Mm-hmm.
space. So yeah, that's a really good point. I see. I'm learning things myself. So nice filling in the gaps there, Jude. That's very cool. Robbie says it would have been nice to see Q fizzle out of existence as a farewell. I think it's been leaked that John Delancey's in season 3. So I don't know if we've seen the end of Q. He does say, "I'll see you out there." He doesn't say goodbye. He says, "See you out there" when Jean Luc hugs him. So maybe the death is still yet to come. you
Maybe
know.
it's
Death.
like a. Oh,
Oh, go ahead,
you go,
Patrick.
John. I was saying maybe it's not a death of like his body, but a death of like his powers. Like maybe he's
Yeah,
a human now.
maybe that could be it too.
I was
Like,
literally about to say something similar. I was like, it could like death could be metaphorical in the sense of maybe the Q are evolving into something else. Maybe
That's
this is
true.
the next step
That's a
in
really cool point.
their evolution. Special and one thing I was thinking about is that Q has a son. Q does have a child, so I'm like, I wonder how that factors into it. Will he be in the next season or be in another show and continue annoying people? But going off of something Braxton has said, I I always saw like with the relationship between Picard and Q, even though Q like legit has put the Enterprise and various other ships and space stations in danger multiple times. He's always been that person where he loves to bother Picard. He loves to bother Janeway. He loves to bother Cisco because he actually loves them and admires them. And his love language, is annoyance.
Isn't
And
it?
especially
I
when
love
it's because it's like
that.
if you're the supreme being, you can't humans and other beings can't relate to Q on the same level because they're just not on that level. And so it's like, well, if I'm on that level, I ain't got nothing else to do. I might as well just annoy you a little bit until you realize why I'm annoying you. So the scene between the two of them I thought was really, really touching. But again, to me, it's like, if Q died or he changed forms, whatever, I would have liked to have seen it in some way, like him fizzle out and turn into like a star or a planet or something like that, or a nebula. I think
Oh,
that
I
would have been
like that. It's very cute. Like
because
Q's last act of death is to turn into a planet or something like that.
yeah,
Like that's interesting.
I
That's
also
interesting.
because I would also think uh I forgot, I lost that train of thought. But in terms of just like the future of the Q continuum, because like I know in Discovery when they were in last season they were talking about Species 10C, before they found out Species 10C, they were thinking like maybe it was the Q and they haven't heard from a Q in hundreds of years. My thing is, um, evolution can take form for different species in very different ways. So, whereas for some species can evolve in the span of a couple of decades, a couple of hundred years, blah, 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 blah. Maybe it literally is going to take the Q hundreds of years to evolve into the next stage or whatever they are. I just really hope that they don't drop the Q continuum as part of the Star Trek franchise, because I think one of the biggest failings of the entire franchise is that you always have these amazing races, these amazing alien species, and they're there for a season or they're there for an episode, and then poof, they're gone. And what is going on? So I really do hope that they bring the Q back in the future series. I mean, if they don't, I'll protest. So.
Well, Discovery dropped a reference to the Q saying that they hadn't heard from them since like 150 years from when this takes place, from the 25th century, from the future time of this. So Discovery said we haven't heard from the Q since that time, like since that long ago. So it's interesting. Maybe, and this would be great in my opinion, a new Q or another person playing Q will come into Discovery and start bothering Michael Burnham and crew at some future
That's
point.
literally what I was thinking.
That would be cool. Q's son could be that. The actor is Keegan Delancey. Q's son is actually played by John Delancey's son, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, what were you going to say, Braxton?
Something that I think that the older Trek shows and possibly Strange New Worlds have as a strength for them is that they are one-off shows that you don't have to watch together, like they aren't serialized. I think sometimes when you go for too much depth, like Picard and Discovery, you end up exposing things that don't make sense. I think that the shallowness of the 50-minute show that you watch as a one-off, might be a strength for a lot of Trek shows. Whereas, you try to give like layers and depth, and then it just starts coming apart because it just doesn't make sense.
Right on. Joel says that Ruben is Q, Starfleet Boy is Picard. Actually, I'm going to just really quickly, I'll play this fully on Starfleet Boy After Dark, but I did buy Ruben a cameo from John
Ruben, a.k.a. the Martian, you sorry piece of shit. What are you doing imitating me? I mean, come on. Did you do well? Did they think you were an asshole? Did they hope that you would, disappear down some wormhole? Because if they did, you did a good job.
All right. So that's
I love that.
Yeah,
because I do hope you die. You are an asshole.
Dude, that was awesome.
I just melted Ruben's heart. He's like, so yeah. So, anyways, I use that as leverage. Anytime Ruben's out of line, I just play that, and I'm like, oh, look what I did. Ruben, don't buy me a Jean-Luc cameo. He charges like $750, so don't do it. Actually do it. No, I don't think Sir Patrick Stewart is on cameo anyways, but really good thoughts. Any other thoughts on Q? Like I said, Earl Grey Trekkie said we are definitely going to see him. I think John Delancey said one of his best scenes with Sir Patrick is in season 3. So this is not the end of Q, and it didn't feel like an ending completely. Like it did feel like what you were saying, Johnny, like a transition into another like state and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool. All right, we're gonna finish off with the Borg stuff. We already talked about it a little bit in the summary and stuff like that, but the highlight for me, of course, for all of this was Elnor being alive. I do like that Q heard Raffi and was like, "Where is that scene? Where is that? Hold on. Oh, I got to show all the ships later too. But there he is. There's my boy Elnor, and he's back, and I loved it. So yeah, that was really cool. I also like seeing a nice close-up shot of the Excelsior. I think it's like a really beautiful update to the ship. Look at this thing here. I hope Eagle Moss I'm like obsessed with the Eagle Moss models. I have them all here on the side and stuff like that. So I hope Eagle Moss does make it a new Excelsior, because I have, hold on, I think I can carefully.
Well, we can't see your face, so we can't see it.
Oh yeah,
Did you block?
Thanks.
Under.
Thanks for
Eleanor is
reminding.
alive.
Eleanor, here's the old Excelsior right here. So this is the
Oh wow.
yeah. This is not the
Yeah.
Enterprise B version, which has the fins, but yeah, it's a
Totally.
beautiful
It's
ship.
I
It's like a
love the
really
Eagle Moss models. I have just too many. None of them are displayed. They're all in boxes because I just don't have anywhere to put them. But they're too perfect not to have.
yeah, they're such great. I mean, like they really make it uh, feel like you are able to. I use them as references also. Oh God, I'll just keep this here because I was trying to put it back in its place and it almost fell. All right. Anyways, yeah, they're great as I like to draw the ships a lot. I used to draw ships when I was a kid, and I still like to draw them. So I use them as references for the drawings and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's Starfleet Boy, brought to you by Eagle Moss. Starships collection.
Yeah, it's true. I can't talk about this scene anymore without seeing the baby face, so I'm not going to talk about this scene. But I do have to say that Alison Pill was great. Like she did a great job as like when I like that little moment where she says, "That's what we do, Mister," and she's like, "Be brilliant," and she's like, "Of course," like that was all really really good stuff. And it was nice that she's like, "I needed a friend," like that's what she needed, and so it was cool. I also like this, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way about this whole thing, but like, it was at first we're thinking like it's about fighting for the future, like to like make sure the future happens, but actually going back in time, doing all that stuff was the future. If you think about it from the perspective of these characters, and they needed to experience that to get to the point. So like when the Borg ship first comes through, there's another version of Girardi there, right? Remember, she's on the ship, and that's actually probably why she's masked. She can't reveal to herself that she becomes the Borg queen. You know what I'm saying?
It's a predestination
paradox.
Sure.
Exactly. But that's why she's masked, right? Like, so that makes sense now to like that she has to be, because she can't let Girardi herself know that she's going to be this person. Otherwise it won't happen. So yeah. And that's what's brilliant about it. And I love that it comes full circle, and it isn't until, in a way, as dark as it is, that is what has to happen to Girardi. They had to travel back in time in order to get back to this point, so that they could actually like move forward. So that's how you break the paradox. It's a lot like that episode of TNG where they just kept repeating over and over the cycles. Who knows how many times these Borg, the Borg Girardi, how many iterations she had to go through before it was finally successful, And that's where Q comes in and gives him a hand. He's like, I snapped you all over to this other timeline so you could figure it out. Like, so you could have the space to figure it out and do everything that you needed to do. So I like that. I mean, again, lots to think about. Doesn't all make sense right now to me, but I feel like the show people actually knew what they were doing as far as that's concerned.
I also liked that Q had said about like Talon or Talon that she needed to, in every iteration of the timeline she dies, but only in this one does she get to meet Renee.
Right. That was really sweet. Yeah, that was really, and you could tell that Jean-Luc was touched by that as well. Here's, by the way, Seven and Rafi. Look at how proud Rafi is of Seven. Look at her. I love it.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Find someone who looks at you the way Rafi looks at Seven of Nine in the scene. Seriously, it's like so good. And then so the formation occurs. They create this like cool bubble. Eleanor's back to life, and here's this like awesome, crazy special effects sequence that like this to me as a Trekkie was just like pure gold. Not just the energy thing here, but this is the kind of stuff I love from Star Trek, is like spatial anomalies and starships and like using science and shields and like ingenuity to stop like disaster, so this was like fulfilled all those things for me. What did you all think of the whole thing with the planets, by the way? And like I think they showed Andor, by the way, in one of those scenes. Someone looked like they had antenna. I didn't have a picture of it.
The visual looks really cool.
What were you saying, Patrick?
I wasn't sure if it was Andor, but definitely there was an Andorian.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's true. Very cool. And who knows what other worlds these are? There's one down here that looks like Coruscant to me from the Star Wars universe. So Yeah, very cool stuff. But then this thing turns into this conduit, and what she says is what we're seeing is definitely a threat, but we're only seeing one piece of the puzzle. So again, I agree with Patrick and everyone else. Like, there's got to be, this has to lead into something in season 3. Like, you know, the Guardian at the gate, for now, everything's copacetic, but it's going to break down at some point. And maybe it won't have any repercussions in Star Trek Picard. It could carry on into another show. So who knows, you know, we'll see. But there is this thing now just floating out in space, and there's a Guardian. So we get one more shot. Speaking of Eagle Moss and ships, we get one more shot of the Stargazer. Gorgeous ship. I think this is like one of the best additions to the Star Trek, canon or whatever. I love the design. I can't wait to see more ships designed this way. I do miss seeing the Sovereign class, but it's okay. I don't mind. I'll take the Stargazer as a substitute and stuff like that. And then finally we end with Jean-Luc and Guinan. Did you guys like that whole thing with the music that they played, which was a reference to the First Contact music during this scene? Did you guys notice that? You didn't
notice. Now I'm gonna have to rewatch. Well, they released the album.
Yes.
So I wonder, is it in there?
It is. I made a mistake and I didn't look at the track names, but I listened to the album before the episode. So when I heard the First Contact theme, my mind went in a totally different direction. I thought they were going to introduce like someone from the TNG cast. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought we were going to get like a cameo other than Guinan, of course, but
I need you to tell me what track it was.
It's 28 or 27 or 28. I actually know the title now. It's called is it called Where You Belong, I think is what it's called.
Love lift us up
where we belong. Where eagles fly. On the mountain high. Sorry.
Love lift us up where we are strong.
Oh my gosh. Patrick, I love you. You're a sweetheart. Guidance hat shrunk, says Arthur. Yes, she's wearing a different outfit. I knew she was coming back because we saw this outfit, I feel like, in something, right? Like, didn't we see it in...
We knew she was coming back because this outfit did appear in some of the promos.
The promos, yeah, so we knew that she was going to come back. The fleet reminds me of the Q barrier and encounter at Farpoint. Oh, interesting. Yeah, like the shield. That's an interesting take on it. The whole anomaly reminds me a little bit of that weird timey-wimey anomaly that was taking place in All Good Things. Oh, so only one person questioned that Rios, the captain, disappeared. That's right. It was like one person. And he's like, stay on task. Sorry guys, my cold is catching up with me, but we're almost done. So we get a little toast. Elnor has his first drink. I feel like that was like a very true moment. Look at that face. Do y'all remember your first drink? I can't be sure, but I think that Rafi is just having tea, which is consistent with her, not wanting to be dependent on like things like alcohol and stuff like that. So I like that a lot as well. But anyways, Jean-Luc, then it ends with him and Laris. Now, do you guys think that T'Lyn is a descendant of Laris's, like directly? Like, do you think T'Lyn, or do you think she's like the sister of what's the deal with T'Lyn? Some people are also speculating that Laris goes back in time and assumes the identity of T'Lyn and actually ends up dying in the past in Jean-Luc's arms. So she's not going to stay with him. She's going to leave and then go back in the past. So there's a lot of theories. What do you guys think?
I never thought of that, so I'm like, damn.
I think she's some kind of ancestor. What the specific kind is, I don't know.
Yeah.
They did say that in the ready room. Oh, here, I think Jill was maybe pointing it out earlier, but Orla Brady did say that like it's meant to be ambiguous it's not meant to be clear that they're going to hook up and get together. Although he is writing some kind of note or invitation, and a lot of people are wondering if it's wedding invitations in that little trailer for season 3 that they
Mhm.
put out. So there's a lot of possibilities here. So we don't know what's going on. But what did you guys think of the conclusion of their relationship?
I thought it was sweet to see them holding hands. Like I said, I thought that the show kind of began with him not taking her hand, and now at the end he does. I thought this was a nice scene. I like that they didn't kiss in the end. I like that it's like ambiguous that way. I thought it was a cute scene.
How about you, Johnny?
I'm not necessarily 100% sold on the Laris and Picard romance. I think them being friends was fine. Because I am like a big fan of the Beverly and Picard, romance. But yeah, I thought it was cute. I thought it was a nice way of leaving this season off. But I will say, I do like the theory of her having to go back in time so that she does die and so on and so forth. I do like that theory a lot. So I kind of hope that plays out in season 3. That way, Picard can just be like, well, my girlfriend died. Let me go back to Beverly.
The shade. The shade.
Do you think let's say she's not gone in season 3, are you guys all for like a little bit of tension between Beverly and Laris?
No.
You can't compete where you don't compare. Sorry, Laris.
Wow, damn.
I don't like when women fight over men. I think that's like stupid, and I really do not want to see like in the future women who are supposed to be like modern like fighting over a man. I
I
don't
like
want to
that.
see that.
But it happens.
Yeah, it does.
It does happen. I mean, Jean-Luc's a catch. So is Laris, so is Beverly. But anyways, yeah, I agree. I don't know. I was like, this was probably my only disappointment is the suggestion that Jean-Luc loves anyone other than Beverly. But I admit my fanaticism is a little extreme in that regard. Like Johnny, I see. So I have a friend in this. So yeah, I was just kind of like, the second time I watched it, I just turned it off right before the scene. I was like, I don't need to see this again. Patrick, any thoughts on Laris and Jean-Luc, and like, did you like the resolution?
I'm not invested in them, though I know that we're supposed to be, and like the whole thing is like this whole season is leading up to him being able to love, essentially. But it was cute. It was fine. I liked it. I do like Orla Brady. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Her, so
yeah,
can't say any bad things about her. But like, I'm not invested. Though I'm gonna be honest, not invested in Beverly and Picard either.
Are you a Nuala Darren fan or a Vosh fan by any chance? Any of his previous?
Vosh is fun at least. I
love Vosh.
Yeah.
I do like the line at the end where he says, "There are moments in our lives we fear to relive, and others we long to repeat. While time cannot give us a second chance, maybe people can." And that's like a legit. True, awesome way to end series 2, because that is kind of like the lesson of the season. So I think that's a good note to end our discussion here. So I'll go first and just say that overall, I think season 2 was very enjoyable. I think this episode was great. Like when I first watched it, I was like a bubbling mess, crying practically through the whole thing. So it really got me in the feels. And so, Johnny, you're new to the show, but there's a tradition we give ratings if we want to. You don't have to give a rating. I usually go first because some of my friends accuse me of, changing my rating if I hear other people's ratings. So I always like drop my rating first. So Joel
already is predicting.
Joel's predicting a 10. I can't deny it. You know what? Overall, this season, I know that it's probably recency bias, and later on I'll come back with a little bit more of a rational mind. But yeah, I just loved it. I enjoyed the whole 10-week experience of Picard, and And so yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10 just because I can't give it a lower rating than any other episode because this was better than a lot of other episodes, and I already gave 10s to other episodes that weren't as good as this episode, so it's gotta get a 10 at the very least. So yeah, who wants to go next with their final thoughts and ratings?
I'll go next. So I'm glad that I actually talked to you guys about this because I am remembering the things that I liked about the episode now. So like I woke up like at like 5 o'clock so I could watch the Picard finale and then try to watch Strange New World before going to work. But I was not successful in watching Strange New World, and you know I felt like this morning like Picard put me in a bad mood to start the day. I had like a bad day, and it was like, you know what? Picard screwed up my damn day, you know, because I was like this Q stuff and that damn Will Wheaton showing up, you know. But then
So
I talked to you
angry. Will
guys,
Wheaton's hot
and
too. Will
Yeah.
Wheaton is hot, and I will not allow anyone to say otherwise.
I agree.
I talked to you guys, and I'm remembering the things that I actually liked about the episode. I felt unsatisfied by the story, but I did take away one big thing. Like like seize the day, like take the hand that is offered to you. Be bold. Maybe that's kind of like a few different things that I took from it, but I did take that from it. But I would give this episode a 6, which is like my lowest rating of the season. But it's just because of the way that everything tied together for me. And like a really big thing is that the Q stuff didn't make any sense. Does he have powers? Does he not? I know what you're saying, Starfleet Boy, but it doesn't make sense to me, and I didn't like it, and I didn't connect with that story.
Respect.
Mhm.
No problem.
But whenever the story was weak, the acting was always strong,
Yeah.
and that's been true the whole season. So I'm at a 6.
Nice. 6 from you. All right, I'm raising my rating to an 11 to bring up the average. Anyways, John, just kidding. Just kidding. Johnny, why don't you go next?
For a total rating for the season,
No, just the episode. You can just do
just
the
the
episode.
episode?
Yeah, just the episode. Yeah. If you want to tell us the whole season too, but we'll have a season discussion if you want to come along at some point later on. I got to watch the whole season again.
oh, definitely, because I just need to. I'm not gonna lie. This is like this season I'm gonna bully the most because this season was just, in my opinion, it was just so bad. And then the last episode, I'm like, hey. For the season being as dry as I thought it was, last episode, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because they really got me in. They reeled me in. They just saved it for me. So I'll give it an 8.5.
Patrick, what say you?
I like to give fun ratings, so I'm gonna give this episode a 20.24. I liked it. I did. There was some stuff that was neither here nor there to me, but I liked it overall. I do think it wrapped up the season well. Like I said, episodes 1 and 2, episode 3, really strong. Jill is exactly right. I enjoyed the 5-week experience. Sadly, it was 10 weeks. I will give the season similar to what Johnny gave the episode. I will give the season an 8.472.
Nice. I like that. Cake is Eternal says, when we do the weekly rewatch in 2037, Starfleet Boy will reconsider his rating in the whole scheme of Star Trek and give it a 9.975. Yes, you know me well, Cake. And then Ed is saying 8.9. Audience, feel free to drop your ratings, but I give this chat a 100,000 butterflies. It was an awesome chat. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Thank you, audience. It was really fun to have you. Tune in at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on if you have Twitter. We do a Twitter Spaces, and this one's going to be both Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Picard, but we're going to focus more on Strange New Worlds. So that'll be at the front end. So if you want to go on Twitter and talk more about Star Trek Picard, just tune in towards the end. But go watch Strange New Worlds. You still have time. I feel like half an hour, Braxton. You could probably finish it. And at least come and listen. But yeah, you could go listen to that on Twitter. How can folks find you guys? And where can folks find you guys? And what are you doing that you would like to promote or talk about or let people know about? Why do you go first, Patrick?
Y'all can find me in Pacific Palisades, California. Also at the University of Southern California on certain days, 3 days a week, 2 days, some
I will
weeks.
find you, and we'll go to
Please.
Sugarfish. We'll go to Sugar. Do you like Sugarfish? Have you been to Sugarfish?
I don't like fish.
Oh, you don't like? Okay.
I'm
fine.
also allergic to tuna, so like.
Oh, you can't have tuna. Okay, we'll
so,
go
like,
somewhere else then.
yeah.
We'll go somewhere else. We'll
But,
go to a restaurant of your choice.
What's the blog people can find you on, Patrick?
But then on Twitter, people can find me at PDP Does Trek. But you can find me on Haverford Avenue in Pacific Palisades, but on the University of Southern California campus in John Hubbard Hall. Thank you, Braxton.
And I'll promote a little bit for Patrick and say that he appears on I Quit Star Trek, which is a cool podcast that is you could find on iTunes and all the things. And also, do you want to talk about your project yet or not yet?
I mean, I'm working on a podcast. I'm going to start with like a pilot episode talking about like how we get to like how we create the future that Star Trek seems to have tried to say is, you know, a utopia. And also discuss like how some of that utopia maybe isn't as utopian as we think, and the stumbles along the way of Star Trek and all of that stuff.
Excellent. Johnny, how can folks find you?
So on Twitter and TikTok, the _Johnny Brown, Johnny without an H. Currently working on, trying to, do more stuff like this, more chats and things of that nature. I do have a candle business, and it is inspired by my favorite elements of pop culture. I do have one candle out right now. Actually, I think it's sold out. My Janeway candle was, obviously based off Captain Janeway.
Oh, wow.
And I'm currently working on an entire Star Trek collection. And my biggest goal right now is I want to be a vendor at Mission Chicago.
You
by
mean
be
Mission
a vendor,
Seattle? You mean
yes,
Mission Seattle?
But by be a vendor, I really mean have someone sit at the table so that we can all, get drinks and mingle and stuff.
I love it.
But yeah, I just finished my formula for my Jean-Luc candle. It's going to smell so great.
That's one that I.
Wow.
Johnny, do you have plans for an Elnor candle?
No, but I can with some.
Because I wanted to do what Dr. Crusher's candle did, like for me. Like I'm gonna light that, and then the ghost of Elnor.
Elnor's sex ghost.
Elnor's sex ghost. I totally want that. So yeah, just a request. No pressure.
Oh my god.
Braxton, where can folks find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Leviathan026.
Absolutely. And that's all. You're doing Starfleet voice. So are you going to join us on Sunday for the Strange New Worlds YouTube discussion, Braxton, do you think?
Yes.
Hell yeah. All right, sweet. You guys are all invited, by the way. That's Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much, guys. Live long and prosper, and we will see you